Ladies and gentlemen, this School of Hard Knocks fight is an amateur bout in the 155-pound weight class and is brought to you by Urban Mobility. And now, let's meet the fighters.
He comes to us all the way from Yellowknife, Northwest Territories. Please welcome Todd Vatcher.
Todd Vatcher on his way down to the cage again out of the Northwest Territories. True North Combat Sports, a club we've seen here a couple times over the last couple events through Saskatchewan and down in Medicine Hat. Really starting to put a presence in the Hard Knocks Fighting Championship, sending another solid fighter out in Todd Vatcher.
Yeah, he's making his amateur debut, but you know, Todd is obviously didn't come all this way to not compete. He's a guy who really likes to compete. He's done a year and a half in MMA. Kind of more of a stand-up guy than a ground guy. He's going to try and keep it standing up, but again, we'll see what happens with him.
Yeah, didn't finalize the fight until a week ago because like most of the guys at True North Combat Sports, they work in the diamond mines up in Yellowknife. And for anyone who's unaware of how that process works, it's 2 weeks in the mine, then 2 weeks out of the mine. So for 2 weeks, they've effectively got no communication with the outside world, if you will. And these guys just go in and work, and they spend time training in the camps at the mines and doing the work. So he found out that he had a fight about a week ago once he got off of work, effectively came out of the mine camp and found out that he had a fight waiting for him. So prepped for that fight, got ready for that fight, and was ready to fight and got it finalized about a week ago.
Well, what else is there to do when you're in a giant mine with a whole bunch of other guys? You know, you're going to learn how to fight, and you know, it's just something to do, and if you can do it in the right way. But again, Todd Vatcher, he's a tough guy, so looking forward to seeing him scrap.
And his opponent. He's coming to you from Calgary, Alberta. This is Denham Pereira.
Denham Pereira comes to us from 2110 Fitness here in Calgary. Weighed in at 155, 0-1 as an amateur. Said he took his first fight at 170 pounds, which again, 15 pounds heavier than he's fighting tonight. Said he didn't really train for it, had just kind of took it as took it on a whim and decided to get in and fight, and ended up losing that fight due to a Kimura in the third round. Admitted he was not ready for that fight, had not trained for that fight, and said that's the big difference between that fight and tonight.
Yeah, you have to be prepared coming into a fight. Fighters often talk about a camp, and they do a month. Most fighters do a month camp, and that camp is very focused training in the gym for those people who are fighting. And, you know, you focus on the things that they need to focus on, and Denham Pereira obviously did that.
And now for the official fighter introductions. In the Build 360 blue corner, in his amateur debut, he's 20 years old and stands 6 feet 1 inches tall. He weighed in at 155 1/2 pounds. Fighting out of True North Combat Sports from Yellowknife, Northwest Territories. Please welcome Hard Knocks fighter, Todd Vatcher!
And in the Two Amigos and Company red corner, he's 0-1 as an amateur and is 30 years old. He stands 6 feet tall and weighed in at 155 pounds. Fighting out of 2010 Fitness from Calgary, please welcome Hard Knocks fighter, Denham Pereira. This bout will be contested under amateur rules. The referee in charge of the Hard Knocks action is Mr. Brian Beauchamp.
Hey, gentlemen, this will be contested under amateur rules. I want a clean, fair fight. Protect yourself at all times. Let's touch gloves, make it official.
So Pereira in the gray trunks out of the red corner, out of the blue corner in the black trunks is Todd Vatcher. And we are ready to go for our 5th fight of the evening. Coming out, touching gloves at the center and immediately landing strikes, both kicks and punches, was Pereira, but answering back quickly is Vatcher. Both these guys ready to throw and are doing so.
Yeah, Vatcher's got some really good technique on his shots, and you can see he's the one doing a lot of damage. You know, Pereira's more of a kind of a swinger. Vatcher's actually turning his hips into each one of those shots. So we might start to see that. But again, Pereira with these winding shots, he is a bigger guy, so they are doing some damage.
Yeah, hands down low from Pereira, swinging from the waist on that last exchange. And Vatcher able to get out of the way of most of those. Again, a big looping right hand coming from way down low, but they are landing, and Vatcher's backing up. Blood on the face of Vatcher now, not sure if it's from his nose. It looks like his nose is bleeding, so early damage being done. Timeout called as they will take a look at Vatcher's nose, concerned about, and his mouthpiece had come out, so that's why the stoppage. Looks like we might get a wash off of the mouthpiece before we continue.
Yeah. And if I'm Todd Vatcher's corner, and I'm going to be a little quiet because I'm really close to him, but if I'm Todd Vatcher's corner, I'm going to tell Todd Vatcher to cover up and let Denham Pereira keep swinging away like this, because, you know, this is that swinging aggressively like that is going to tire him out. And if Todd Vatcher can hold on here, he might start to see an advantage in the second round.
So back in, Vatcher lands the lead left hand, but big swings and connecting on occasional ones. Oh, big hit from Pereira there, and he's got a rear naked choke locked on. We'll see if he can hold on here. Pereira trying to turn in, but the hooks are on for Vatcher. He has Pereira's back, and it'll be survival time here from Pereira after getting rocked by the right hand.
Well, and Pereira woke up on the ground. He was out, and he fell down, and when Vatcher took his back, he woke up. He went from bright eyes to very focused. He's got his chin underneath there, so he might be able to hold on. He is trying to fight the grip, as long as his chin stays under there. But if Vatcher can start twisting his arm, get underneath that chin like he is almost now, now that chin's back. So right now, Pierre is in a good shape to defend this. It's going to hurt that jaw, but he won't get choked out.
So far, so good on the bottom for Denham Pereira. Todd Vatcher has his back and is trying to lock that in. You mentioned, Jeremy, he was fighting the grip. You can see he's got good wrist control, pressing that wrist up, unable to put any leverage on the choke from Todd Vatcher because Pereira is keeping his arm at a distance.
Yeah, you do require those both arms to get there, and of course you look at Pereira, and he is defending really well, taking off the top hand first. You know, Vatcher might have to, and he has. He's abandoned a technique that isn't working, and now he's going to work. He's going to sit in side control, and I wouldn't be surprised if he starts landing some strikes here.
And you can look to see again, strikes to the body are legal, strikes to the head are not of a downed opponent. Blood streaming from the nose of Todd Vatcher here in the late stages of round number 1. Just 10 seconds remain here in round number 1 as Vatcher and Pereira look to go to round number 2. Vatcher on top and Pereira fighting back from the guard.
Great first round. You know, it's going to be tough to call that one because there's a ton of blood coming out of the nose of Todd Vatcher, but where that blood came from, that was a glancing blow that just hit the nose.
Well, I think it was a straight right hand here right in front of us. He had thrown so many looping shots, throwing from the waist, throwing from the waist, throwing from the waist, and then all of a sudden, through one shot, one straight right hand that appears to have broken the nose of Todd Vatcher because he's spitting out a lot of blood. There was blood streaming from his nose. You can see possibly in the background here, the ring crew cleaning up the cage and trying to clean the blood off the cage floor. floor, as it is all over the cage. As for the majority of that first round, Todd Vatcher was bleeding.
And her poor ring girl walks in there with bare feet, and you saw that she was doing the dance of avoiding the blood as she went around there. So thankfully did avoid it. But if you look at it, his nose is not dripping anymore. So, you know, there's a possibility that it might be broken, but no bleeding is an okay thing as long as it's not going back down the throat. That obviously causes some breathing issues. You know, Todd Vatcher, it's going to be a tough round to call because, again, Denham Pereira did a lot of damage, but Todd Vatcher had that opportunity to tap him out. He had a takedown. He ended the round on top. So, you know, it's one of those things. It's tough to be a judge at this point.
Now, an interesting thing here that you don't normally see from a fighter, Denham Pereira facing away from his opponent and outside of the cage during the round break. Not something you see. Again, 90-second breaks here under the amateur rules between rounds. When we get to the pros later tonight, it'll be 60-second breaks, but three 3-minute rounds with 90-second breaks in between. Round number 2 underway. Pereira in the gray trunks, Vatcher in the black, and you can see immediately throwing punches and trying to land more damage to the nose of Vatcher as Pereira, and you can see those punches are hurting because as Vatcher walked away, he was with a grimace on his face. Now another big right hand lands from Pereira. Vatcher doing damage of his own as Pereira continues to come forward.
Yeah, again, the one thing that we're seeing is Pereira's landing big shots, but they're not very accurate. And when Todd Vatcher does land one, and he's trying for a guillotine
is locked in here. We'll see whether or not Pereira can escape this. He was able to get out of the rear naked choke earlier and does escape the guillotine choke. Vatcher ends up in side control.
That's a smart move by Vatcher here because he wasn't going to finish him off. He needs to try and remain inside control here and start doing some damage. Blood again flowing from the nose. Taking the mount now is Todd Vatcher. We're going to see if he starts to work from this.
Pereira underneath. Vatcher maybe trying to secure a choke there. Not sure if he's laying the forearm across the neck.
Yeah, that's not going to tap a guy out, but what it is going to do is it's disrupt his breathing. And when you look at a big guy like Denham Pereira, he's got a lot of muscles, and those require oxygen to do it.
Now he's on, and again, and now Pereira covering the nose and mouth of his opponent. Both of them trying to interrupt the breathing. Again, Vatcher on top, now looking to secure an Americana, has that over top. Pereira content to land punches there, does not feel like he's in danger, and Vatcher releases it. Vatcher having trouble with his mouthpiece as that comes out. He takes a moment to readjust it.
He's doing a really good job of staying on top and keeping his hips low. Being able to stay in this dominant position, even though he's not doing a whole ton of damage, it appears to the judges that he's dominating the fight. And it's, again, you only have to win 2 rounds to do it. And as we said, that first one's going to be tough to call. Oh, now he's got it really good here, doing a lot of pressure to that elbow. He needs to really hip in, though, if he's going to want to do that right.
And again, just grabbing the face as a defense, and that causes Todd Vatcher to let go. An interesting defense, but I guess if you've got a broken nose, you're going to want to try and move that away, and it prevents you from holding on to that choke.
Yeah, hey, having a broken nose hurts a ton. And you saw Pereira try and come out of there as a switch when Todd Vatcher was high up on his chest. Vatcher corrects himself, moves back down, ends up into that traditional mount. I would really love to see him land some strikes here. Just dropping his elbow to that open area onto the body of Denham Pereira. But again, a good round here for Todd Vatcher, staying on top the whole time.
Yeah, 10 seconds or less than 10 seconds now remaining in round number 2, and not much action once it got to that position on the ground, but Todd Vatcher, like you said, doing a good job and staying in the mount as he heads back to his corner. He looks a little woozy as he heads back to his corner. Pereira walks back to his corner, sits down, and again faces away from his corner to talk to his coaches who stay outside the cage.
Yeah, it's all personal preference and how you work. Some people like to get in there and work with them. Some coaches like to get right in the face, and that allows them to do that. Have a little extra time in there because they can talk to their athletes without having to get out of the cage. You know, we look over in the corner of Todd Vatcher, and they're doing a really good job of trying to clean that blood up, control that bleeding.
And the doctor did come in. The referee had the doctor come in to take a look at Todd Vatcher. Like I mentioned, went back to his corner a little woozy. Looked like he was having some trouble on his way back to the corner, although he does stay standing, 1 foot on the stool. Always an interesting dichotomy to see the two opponents, whether or not you stand or sit. And I've had some people tell me I always make my guys stand up to show that they're tough and they're ready to go. And I've had other coaches say, we've got 90 seconds to take a break, and if your guy doesn't sit in the first and does sit after the second, it gives his opponent more information.
Yeah, you're sending an additional message to say that, you know, well, you didn't get me the first round, but you got me the second round. You know, I think it's more to do with coach's preference, like you mentioned. You know, you look at Todd Vatcher and Denham Pereira, and we're going into a third round, and this is a really tough fight to call.
Yeah, again, I thought that second round went to Vatcher. The first round still a question mark, as both were able to land some pretty damaging blows. And this early on, it's been the jab that's working for Vatcher. A big swing and a miss the second time around, but he did land a big right hand. And Vatcher going in with the kicks again, trying to keep Pereira at a distance, because he knows when they get in close on the stand-up, he is not winning that battle.
Yeah, well, Pereira's a big, strong guy, and there's a great takedown there. Got in on the hips, nice trip as Pereira was standing up solid, didn't really sprawl down, but Pereira locking in a really good body triangle from the top, and now he does release it. But again, Pereira needs to get off his back, because despite the fact that he's done a lot of damage in here, he's up in on the bottom for the majority of the second round, and now so far a good portion of the third.
Yeah, I think if you're in Pereira's corner as a coach, you have to be telling him he's got to finish the fight. With the first round being so tight to call and knowing he's lost the second one, he needs to finish the fight, and he's not going to be able to do that from this position. Referee stands them up. No action happening down there. A good solid guard from Pereira gets the stand up, and Vatcher heads back to his corner. We are back underway after being stood up, and they are back on their feet. Again, Pereira looking to do damage as he continues to throw punches. Spinning back fist lands from Vatcher as he was getting away from a punch and came back with a counter. Another big leg kick lands there from Vatcher.
Yeah, Vatcher might have been playing possum a couple of times in the first couple rounds. In these exchanges, he would run away and then he would turn around. Well, the last couple times he's worked on that spinning back fist, and now these guys are just standing up and trading. You know, that's going to be a low blow, and they're going to stop the time here.
Yeah, a quick stoppage there from the referee. Timeout. Looks like the low blow. You could see the look of shock on Vatcher's face. Excuse me, as he came out after the low blow. Not an intentional low blow by any means, I don't think. Looks like he was trying to knee the midsection. Got a little too close, too fast. And looks like they're bringing in the doctor again to look at Vatcher's nose as it continues to stream blood. This is the second time now the doctor has checked on Vatcher's nose and the condition of it and whether or not he can continue.
You know what, it'd be a shame if the doctor stopped the fight. I understand if he does, but it would be a shame, because I think that that Todd Vatcher's put on a really good show here. I think that he would be able to tough this out. I think if you ask him, he probably won't want to stop this fight. Doctor's going to say it's okay. And again, he still has some time to recover from that low blow. They do get 5 minutes.
And the referee is taking a point for the low blow. So now you've got to think, if you're Denham Pereira, you have to finish this fight.
Yeah.
There is no reason, there's no option for you at this point.
I don't think it's a possibility that Pereira wins this fight unless he finishes it at the end. So, you know, if I'm Todd Vatcher's corner, I'm saying shoot in on a low leg attack and hold on. Get away from those big fists, try a takedown, but, you know, give credit to Vatcher. He's going to stand in there and let them swing, and he's landing some vicious shots.
Both of them landing big punches. Vatcher coming forward now right here in front of us, and Pereira goes for the takedown, but ends up on the bottom with Vatcher in the mount. very effective ground game from Todd Vatcher.
That's a fantastic thing. And coaches will mention when it comes to wrestling, there's a point when you realize you can defend, and there's a point when you realize, you know what, he's got me. So on the way down, oh no, he's got me. What am I going to do when I hit the ground? And as soon as Todd Vatcher hit the ground, he was rolling to end up in a top position. That's quality defense from wrestling. I'm very impressed by Vatcher's wrestling there.
Big strikes being landed to the midsections, just 10 seconds left, and we are likely going to see a Todd Vatcher decision victory here with just a few seconds left here in round number 3. The third and final round is over. A war between these two fighters as they go the distance, throwing bombs the entire way. A solid fight here between Todd Vatcher and Denham Pereira.
Yeah, that was an amazing fight. You know, it had that point knockout taken away, we could have been very close to
decision. As we await the official decision, a special thank you goes out to Robin Hahn of Build 360 for all his support. His generosity is greatly appreciated. Thank you, Robin.
And of course, you know, you can always check out the Hard Knocks Fighting Championship on Twitter, at HK Fighting. You can also follow myself at Real Ginger Ninja, and of course Ryan Valentine at Podcaster Ryan, as we tweet throughout this entire thing. You know, I'm looking at some of these Twitter posts here. Thinking Atheist, Josh Harkema is calling some of these fights as well from the stands, talking about Todd getting tired but still on top, and I might agree with that one there. Also, Top MMA News is here right beside us, and you can check out their results. If you go to @Top MMA News, you can get linked to the results there. Great fight between these two fighters. I'm looking forward to the decision. Would have been a lot closer had that point not been taken away from Denham Pereira. I don't think that he has the ability to win this fight, but you know, when you leave it in the judges' hands, the scores could be anything. So we'll have to see coming in. I think we're just waiting for all the adding up in the official decision. It looks like the official decision is in. So we are going to go into the cage to Doug Denance, who is the voice of Hard Knocks Fighting.
Hard Knocks fans, we have the official decision brought to you by Urban Mobility. The winner by unanimous decision in the blue corner, Todd Vatcher!
So Todd Vatcher does win by unanimous decision. I'd be interested to know what the scorecards are previous to that point being taken away. We'll go to Ryan Valentine, who is going to try and track down Todd Vatcher.
We'll get you to look into the camera here. A very impressive performance coming down for your debut. Took a little bit of punishment, but got the job done.
Yeah, I'd just like to thank everyone that helped organize me for this fight. My whole corner for coming out, all my family and all audience for coming out, and my girlfriend for coming out. She's right there in the way.
Now, walk us through the fight, because early on, he gets the damage done on your nose. You bleed all over the place for the next 2 rounds, but you get the job done.
He's a tough guy. I only broke my nose once. I only had a bleeding nose once in my life. That was the second time. Yeah, he was definitely the toughest guy I ever fought in my life.
Coming down from Northwest Territories, again, you got your club to thank. Who are your coaches in your corner?
My uncle right here and Papa Sarah. He's my coach. And Josh.
All right, we'll let you get to the doctor, man. Congratulations.
Let me hear it for your winner once again, Todd Vatcher!